So I'm in conversation right now, late at night with a friend, and I was going on about quantum physics, measurement, language, and he stopped me with a question so simple it broke my brain. He said electrons are negative because of the relation to protons. Without that relation, is the electron positive or negative? And the more I sat with it, the more I realized the question wasn't just about electrons. Here's what is actually true in physics, not speculation, but established science. Charge isn't intrinsic. The labels positive and negative are arbitrary. We could have called them X and Y. What's real isn't the label, what's real is the difference, the relation. Same with mass. Mass is resistance to acceleration, which requires force, which requires another object, which requires relation. Same with velocity. You're only moving relative to something else. Properties in physics, the things we measure, the things we build equations around, aren't properties of isolated things. They're properties of relationships between things. Remove the relation and the property dissolves. The electron isn't negative in isolation, it just is, until something else exists for it to be different from. My friend then asked, do we even need relation? And that's where it gets genuinely hard, because on one hand, relationships seems to be the fabric of everything physics can describe. Particles defined by their difference from other particles, forces defined by their effects on other things, the entire measurable universe built on comparison. But on the other hand, if everything is relational, what is it relating through? Two things can only relate if there's something they both exist within. What is that something? That's not a physics question yet. Physics describes the relations. It doesn't have language for what the relations happen inside of. Here's what it connects back to quantum. The measurement problem, the observer affecting the observed. It might not be a paradox waiting for a better equation. If properties are relational and measurement is a relation, then of course measurement participates in the outcome. The measuring instrument and the particle aren't separate things where one neutrally observes the other. They're in relation. And the relation is partly what produces the property being measured. It's not mystical, it's just following the relational logic of physics to its honest conclusion. The question measurement keeps bumping into isn't what is the particle doing, it's what is the particle doing in relation to what? And the answer keeps being in relation to the observer. Here's what I don't know, and I want to be straight about this. I don't know if there's a ground beneath the relations, something that everything relates through. Contemplative traditions say yes and call it being and oneness and the ground of awareness. Physics doesn't have language for it yet. What I do think, and this is philosophical intuition, not a physics claim, is that the relational nature of physical properties is pointing at something. When you follow the logic far enough, every property depends on relation, and every relation requires something to relate through. That something keeps resisting description in the language of relation. You arrive at a question physics can name but not answer. What is prior to relation? My friend asked whether we need relation. Maybe the better question is, what would it mean for something to exist without it? I don't have that answer, but I think it's the most interesting question in physics right now, and it started with a simple question about an electron. Properties don't exist in isolation. Charge, mass, velocity, all relational. Which means the universe physics describes isn't made of things with properties, it's made of relationships that produce properties. And if you follow that honestly all the way down, you arrive at a question the equations can gesture at but not answer. What are the relationships happening inside of? This is not mysticism. That's just physics following its own logic to the edge of what it currently knows and sitting honestly with what's there.